Hey Belmont friends,
Hello.
this is Dave Jaegar. I'm one of the marriage and family therapists here in Counseling Services. It's good to see you again this Wednesday. And today I invited a friend. We're not doing great at practicing social distancing, but this is Dr. Doug Cruz. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dr. Doug, and I am an assistant professor in social work, and I also help out here at the Counseling Center. I lead a self-compassion group and see individual clients as well. So This is a big part of what I do.
Yeah. So today we wanted to spend some time tackling a topic that we thought could be really helpful in a time like this. And so Doug, luckily enough, has studied this in his PhD program and done extensive research around the concept of self-compassion. And so that's what we're going to focus on today. And so Doug, if you could start today, tell us a little bit about, in your perspective, like what is the definition of self-compassion and what are some of the things that hold that definition up in place?
Okay, so the basic definition of self-compassion is having a kind-hearted way of treating yourself with forgiveness and grace around any mistakes or perceived failures that we have about ourselves. So often we kind of misplace our mindfulness, which is one of the components, and being present with ourselves and our thoughts and our emotion. That's a big part of what self-compassion is. Another part is that we learn to be kind to ourselves and not judge ourselves, so that when we do make a mistake, we're not super hard on ourselves. We don't use harsh words, but we say, imperfection is a part of life. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to be kind to my imperfection. Mm-hmm. And then the third component that is a part of this is learning that we're connected to others. Mm-hmm. It's called common humanity. And I think that for this time in our life, I think this is the most important factor of self-compassion that we need to think about, is how we connect to others. Mm-hmm. And so if we are, looking at our lives right now, so most of us may feel isolated, we may feel lonely, we may feel disconnected, we may be confused on kind of, what do I do? Where am I supposed to be? Where's my space in the world? And so connecting to others is going to be kind of paramount and key in kind of increasing our self-compassion right now. And so if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling kind of lost, if you're feeling disconnected, my encouragement to you in that is connect to someone else. And I know there's many people that probably are listening to this and their anxiety has just risen, and that I've said, connect, do something, make yourself vulnerable. But that could be one of the key things, is that when we make ourselves vulnerable and we reach out and we say, hey, I need something. Hey, I'm lonely. Hey, I'm hurting. Hey, I'm confused. Hey, I'm scared. Whatever it is, that when we reach out, we're probably really helping someone else by saying, hey, I need something. And the other person can say, hey, me too. Mm-hmm. So connecting to others is going to be really important. I recommend, this is a personal recommendation, email and texts are great, but also face-to-face conversation, and face-to-face meaning like FaceTime or any kind of other kind of social media way of doing that is call a friend, put each other's faces up and say hi. And that's probably one of the best balms for our soul that we can do. Like the medicine for our soul is going to be seeing our faces and saying, I see you, I hear you, and you're worth the time. Yeah. And so giving people our time is going to be key. So I think that's going to be a great way of exploring self-compassion right now.
It seems like one of the ways self-compassion I think often gets framed is it's around maybe a mistake that we've made or a shortcoming that we've had. Mm-hmm. And I think what I'm hearing you say is part of self-compassion is also being kind to the fact that we have needs. And that
absolutely,
and sometimes we can even diminish and be hard on ourselves around the fact that we have a need.
Yes, and we all have needs.
Right.
Period. I have needs to talk to my friends. I have needs to connect to others, as do all of us. Yeah. And there are times, and I imagine during this time, it's I don't want to be a burden to people. Everyone's experiencing something hard right now. It's difficult. It's how do I do this well, and to kind of let go of that in some way. Yeah. And say, though I may feel like I'm going to be a barrier, I'm still going to do this because I need it, and most likely someone else needs it. Yeah. And sometimes we have to be the vessel to begin the vulnerable conversation of need. Yeah. And that is actually a strong place to be. Yeah. It's all counterintuitive sometimes, Being strong by being vulnerable.
Yeah. There's this form of therapy called acceptance and commitment therapy that
Yeah.
I love, which kind of talks about this idea that sometimes we have to accept that there's things that are hard, and then commit to doing them anyways. And I think that what I hear you saying is like vulnerability is one of those things that like it's always hard, right?
Vulnerability is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, no one wants to be the first to go,
yeah,
hey, don't feel perfect. Yeah. I'm lonely. I'm hurt. I feel isolated. I feel disconnected. But yet sometimes that's the greatest thing we can give as a gift to someone else is to say, I'm lonely. I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I need something.
Yeah.
So my hope is that we help each other with that need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for talking about defining self-compassion.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Yeah. Well, so today, to finish, we wanted to do a couple things. One is, Doug and I, in our groups that we've led together through the years and even separately, we try to practice some self-compassion exercises. And so today, for this last little part, I wanted to do a really quick, easy self-compassion exercise that you can each do whenever you'd like. And then at the end, we're going to put up some links to a website, particularly one website. Kristen Neff is the kind of front runner in creating a lot of the exercises and resources around self-compassion. And we're going to put up a link to her website. The book that she has called Self-Compassion is a wonderful, wonderful, life-changing tool. So if you want to pick that up, you can do that on Amazon, and that could be a great resource for you over the next few months. But we're going to link you to the specific part of her website where she has 8 different self-compassion exercises, and they're wonderful. And so if you want to try some of those, great. We're going to do one of them right now. I'm going to walk you through that. And so the one we're going to do is what she refers to as a self-compassionate touch exercise. And so it begins with, to me, I oftentimes think about when I'm in a situation or even at the end of the day, and I can think back and say, like, what was the hardest part of my day? What is something that's really bothering me right now? Where is something that I felt like I didn't meet my expectations or fell short in? And just a time that was hard or stressful or challenging that we are in the middle of. And the first step of that exercise is to just acknowledge that, to be aware of it. And so she uses the phrase saying something along the lines of like, this is a moment of suffering. You might also say like, ouch, or like, oof, something to just acknowledge that like something hurts right now. The second step is to say to ourselves internally that suffering is a part of humanity, being a human. And so it's kind of that common humanity, right? Just because something goes wrong doesn't mean that I'm alien to this world. It means that I'm a normal human being. Joseph Campbell once, one of my favorite quotes of all time, says, he said that perfection is inhuman and that we are drawn to the humanity in others or the imperfection in others, right? And so sometimes even those things that go bad or that are hard or are stressful for us, we often think those are things that should separate us from others or we want to hide from others. And in reality, he and Kristen Neff talk about how those are ways that we actually can connect and reach out to others. And so the first step, again, is saying, like, this is a moment of suffering. The second step is saying suffering is a part of being a human. It's normal. You're not weird. It's a part of this. And then the third step, she talking about the kind of putting your hand over your collarbone, giving yourself like a hug, whatever it is that feels kind of soothing to you, but putting a little downward pressure on that space and kind of saying to yourself, and it can be internally in your head, or if you're alone, you can say it out loud. But she just says to say the phrase, may I be kind to myself in this moment. And so, again, the 3 steps are, number 1, acknowledgement. This is a moment of suffering. Number 2, acknowledging that like suffering is a part of being a human. And then number 3, the self-compassionate touch and saying, may I be kind to myself in this moment. So hopefully that's a helpful resource. As we wrap today, Doug and I know each other for quite some time, and I think we both agree on this. We want to just say a couple things. Number 1, you are missed on campus.
Yes.
It is weird. We went to
It's so
Chick-fil-A.
weird.
It's really freaking weird at Chick-fil-A right now when there's nobody in there and not seeing people around campus. Number 2, you are important. You have value, you have worth, you have significance, and we miss having that being here on campus and want you to be reminded of that. Number 3, right after this, and maybe even now, Larkin Briley from UM is going to put up some little hyperlink resources, or maybe in the comment section where you can do some more of these self-compassion exercises. Use those. They are actually helpful, and hopefully they can aid in kind of navigating this time. But we are so glad that you were with us today. Thanks for your time, and have a great Wednesday night. See ya.
Right. Bye.